Health Share. Ron Bloxom joining us now, House of Delegates member, Republican Eastern Shore, and that is District 100, Lucky 100. Hey, Delegate, good to have you with us.
Good morning, John. How are you, sir?
Tay, your last election, you're running against the same Democrat that challenged you in the special. And I remember covering that. We went to your election night headquarters because we predicted you were going to win. My predictions are always on target. And it was in a nice restaurant on the Eastern Shore. I can't remember. What was it?
Island House.
Island House, that's
yes,
right.
Sir.
And you won everything. You won Accomack, obviously we know you do that. You won Northampton. You won Norfolk. You won everything. And how do you see your election now in 8 days?
I feel pretty positive. I mean, you need to run, of course you get nervous and you got to run scared, and hopefully you win by a sizable margin. That's the hope. He's a little better prepared. We also have, another Democrat on the ticket. So, who knows? I mean, it's going to be turnout. It's going to be turnout. I feel positive. I just need to make sure that my supporters come out and vote.
Okay, and you've got to run ahead of the Democrat that's on the top of the ticket in the Eastern Shore, which is Linwood Lois, also running for his first full term. And we have him ahead of Ottinger by about a touchdown. So you've got to run ahead of that. Now, you didn't have that when you ran in the special, obviously, because it was just you were on the top of the
right. I was
ballot.
the only game in town. I mean,
yeah. So it's a little bit different now.
Yeah, it'll be different. I mean, I think hopefully the results are going to be the same for me. I've worked hard to represent the whole 100th district. It is a diverse district, but I work hard to try to make sure that everyone has a voice in Richmond.
Well, Delegate Bloxom, you got the endorsement yesterday from the Virginian pilot that doesn't endorse a lot of Republicans. Were you surprised at that?
Well, yeah, I was pleased. I was somewhat surprised. Like you said, they don't support a whole lot of Republicans. I think they probably. I'm sure they asked my opponent the same questions they asked me, and I just think that they probably thought I might have had a better grasp on the issues.
Let's get to hospitals, Medicaid expansion, things of that nature. I ask everybody that comes on, look, whether you're in favor of Medicaid expansion or you're not, and we know that you are not in favor of it, it's not going to be a reality in Virginia because it's not going to get past the House, which has a super majority of Republicans. So to me, the debate on Medicaid expansion is a colossal waste of time. It isn't going to happen. However, as you know, being in a rural area yourself, hospitals in rural area are under financial siege. They don't have any money, and they're cutting service, closing up, costing jobs and everything else. Is there an alternative to Medicaid expansion to help some of these hospitals in rural areas of Virginia that simply don't have the money to be able to survive?
Well, we're lucky here on the shore because Riverside owns our network, our hospital. And Riverside, of course, is very profitable in Hampton Roads. So we're actually getting a new hospital, which really should cut down on the losses that we've been incurring on the shore. And there are also some alternatives with the rural health system. They're all networked in with the hospital. The problem is the contracts that have been offered so far with Medicaid expansion are bad deals for Virginia.
Right.
Now, if the proposal came up and it became a better deal to help, as far as I'm concerned, help all of Virginia, meaning my insurance going down in my business, which, as you probably know, everything that was promised hasn't happened with Obamacare. I mean, all of the insurances are going up 30%, 40% a year. Deductibles are going through the roof. Unless you can attack that problem in context with Medicaid expansion, no, Medicaid expansion doesn't stand a chance in Richmond. But if the Chamber of Commerce's and the hospitals come up with a plan, and you really have to come from industry, some of these proposals, because Richmond doesn't have the answer to everything. In fact, a lot of stuff comes from Richmond, sounds good, they're sound bites, but it's bad policy. It's bad. I mean, it really has to come from industry. And they come up with a good solution, it'll get a fair hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It might not. Medicaid expansion, as the contracts were written before, no, they don't stand a chance. But there are always alternatives, and there are always. I will say that I think the House gives everything a fair hearing.
Now, Delegate Bloxom, you're unique in that you're not a lawyer, right?
No.
You're a small businessman. You meet a payroll every Friday. What has happened with your own business as far as your cost of health insurance? Explain to our audience what's happened.
Okay, basically what's happened is over the last 3 years, my insurance has probably tripled. Now, what I did to keep it from tripling is change plans, which is probably everybody's done that. So what I used to have, which cost me I employ about 13 people, which used to cost me, and I'll just give an example of, let's say, $2,000 a month.
Right.
And I insure all of my people individually. I insure everyone, not the families, but the individual person, and I pay 100%. So what's happened is the first year it came out, it jacked up 30 or 40%. The next year, 30 or 40%, and then again this year it did. So what I've done is raise my deductible. So my deductible has gone to about $6,000 out of pocket before anything else is paid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have to pay $6,000. In effect, they don't have insurance. I used to also fund an HSA, which I could not do any longer. They still put a little money in their HSA, but it does nowhere comes close to the yearly deductible. So, in fact, the people that are on Medicaid are buying supplements from the government have much better insurance than what my people have.
Right.
So, and I was advised, send them to the marketplace. Okay, let's think about that. I've got 5 guys that have wives that work.
Mm-hmm.
The marketplace has what some people call the glitch, the family glitch. Well, it's not a glitch. It's like a Grand Canyon of glitches.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge because he cannot buy health. He has to buy health insurance from his wife. He would have to go on her plan, and that is like 3 times what I'm paying for him to be on his own plan. So he's stuck. He can't go to the marketplace. He has to buy it from her. So we've decided we're just swallowing it right now as best we can. Some of my boys could have gone to the marketplace, gotten a better plan, gotten subsidies, and been fine because they're single.
Mm-hmm.
The fellows that are married would have been stuck,
mm-hmm.
and I wasn't going to send them out to the marketplace to get bludgeoned. So right now we are just I say holding our breath, hoping for the next time our insurance renews, which is be in about 8 months, that we don't get bludgeoned again.
Right, because it hurts everybody. But see, just what you said, Delegate Bloxom, is one of the reasons that I think we need your leadership back in the House, and I would encourage our listeners that are in the 100th District to return you back there because you give a common sense approach to what's going on. Nothing against all of the attorneys and lawyers we have. They're all good guys and women. But, somebody that runs a small business like yourself in a rural area somewhat that employs, 13 people, that, their livelihood is dependent on the success of your company, and you have to grapple with things like you just explained.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of perspective that we need in Richmond. Don't you agree?
Oh, I absolutely. And it's amazing. I mean, I could not believe the breadth of knowledge that is sitting in the House of Delegates. When you start looking at the delegates that are surrounding us, from dentists to farmers to the oyster shucker from Margaret Ranson. I mean, the breadth of knowledge out there is huge. And so when a topic comes up, you look around for the expert in the room.
Mm-hmm.
For example, state inspection. I'm the only state inspector in the House of Representatives. In fact, I think I'm the only one on at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a certified state inspector for safety inspections for your car.
Right.
So when that issue comes up, most of the boys are looking at me going, what are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of go through it and explain it to them, and then they can make up their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, without me in the room, there would be issues that people are talking in theory. And you're talking theory, and it sounds great, but in real life, you know, it's you're going to do something that is really going to have unintended consequences because they didn't think it all the way through.
Right. Delegate Bloxom, share with our audience, what is your number one objective, assuming you get reelected in November in the 2016 General Assembly?
I have no burning sword, no issue that I'm, going to jump on my steed and ride into Richmond with. I don't really think it works that way. Most of what I've been doing in this position is trying to get new businesses and new industries kind of situated on the Eastern Shore, mm-hmm. and just trying to get the infrastructure. If the government can help with the infrastructure, then that's where I come in. But trying to connect the dots, we've got a few really promising projects on the horizon that really could add so much to my area here, mm-hmm. that I just find I find it fascinating to be in the discussion, to be in the room, to be able to call somebody and they're going to call you back.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no one issue that I'm going to run up and save the world on, because I really don't think that's the way politics work. In Richmond, it kind of is a consensus building. It's just ideas kind of evolve, and it's nice to be in the room to help try to evolve them in a way that I just think is, let's make this where it's easy, simple, make sure the regulations make sense. If they don't make sense, you question them. Make sure that everybody understands that this is the ramifications for what we're just doing, so we don't have to come back next year and do an oops bill, like, oh, I didn't realize this was going to happen, so we have to come back and redo it again, which is a lot of times what happens in Richmond.
Right. Yeah, I think you certainly have the right mindset, no question. We're out of time. I want to thank Rob Bloxom for being with us, and Rob is a Republican running for re-election. That's for the 100th district, and that's on the Eastern Shore, Accomack County, Northampton County, and part of Norfolk. What are just so our audience knows, Delegate, describe the area of the precincts that you represent in?
Okay, they're right on Ocean View, and it's kind of like a pie slice. It goes from the Willoughby Spit, right down Ocean View to about 1st, 3rd Street, somewhere in there, and then it kind of cuts in. You got Suburban Acres, and that area right through there is my district. It's a wonderful part of Norfolk. I mean, I guess the biggest issue that they're going to be facing is recurrent flooding, which is something that we've been addressing, trying to figure out ways that we can solve that problem.
All right, we're out of time. We want to thank Delegate Robert Bloxom for being with us. You want more info, go to robbloxom.com. That's www.robbloxom.com.